All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it's time to follow up on the people that kept telling you that it's not a big deal that Oblivion Remastered changed male and female to Type 1 and Type 2. How do they explain that it's not a big deal? Well, that's easy. They just go around and they just go on an absolute tirade all over the internet. They make articles and they go crazy about how it totally is not a big deal, yet they are melting down at the mere thought of a mod existing to remove Type 1 and Type 2, which, by the way, just because a mod exists doesn't mean that magically in your game, Type 1 and Type 2 just goes away. That's only possible if you install the mod yourself, and yet they are trying to melt down over the fact of this mod existing, removing something that is supposedly not a big deal. We have an article here from Vice, which, again, I don't know who uses Vice, but regardless, it says, is Oblivion Remastered too woke? Right-wing gamers are trying to mod out this feature. Now, as we dive into this article, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind people how absolutely useless modern-day gaming urinalism actually is, because all they do is essentially spew the same exact nonsense. They copy and paste each other's articles, which is hilarious, by the way, because they accuse YouTubers of doing the exact same thing, and yet here they are literally copy and pasting. Do you want an example? I shall give it to you. So this is Vice talking about how the game is too woke and how it's just angry right-wing gamers that are basically complaining about a supposed feature. What do you know? We got the Daily Mail that has a headline that reads, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is branded woke by angry gamers who claim the game forces you to play as a transgender character. Who are they referencing? They're referencing people like JDA, and they're referencing people like John F. Trent, and trying to paint everybody with the same broad brush because they copy and pasted everybody's article. Oh, what's this? We got Pink News saying the same exact thing. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is already being branded woke by angry gamers. You want to know what's hilarious? Pink News was the first one to release this article, and then Daily Mail copy and pasted it and added this little bit at the end to make it seem like they did something different. And then obviously Vice wants to expand the conversation about whether or not it's too woke. So let's get into this article, guys, from Vice. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm as we are on our way to 90,000 subscribers. It says they think a less inclusive design decision would actually improve sales. It would. I mean, it's been a proven fact at this point. You know, Elder Scrolls Oblivion is a game that was going to sell no matter what. See, here's the thing. These people are only ever confident when they co-op something that already has an established fan base. They're never this confident when they put out a video game that's brand spanking new, right? They weren't this confident with Concord. They weren't this confident with South to Midnight. They weren't this confident with any of this stuff that is brand new IPs that feature, interesting ideology. They're never this confident. They only want to put their chest out there when it's an IP that has been notoriously made by people that were never about this ideology, and now all of a sudden it decides to switch from male and female to Type 1 and Type 2, and now they're like, yeah, it was always woke, baby. You know what I mean? These people are absolute fucking losers at the end of the day, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So then, there's apparently an update. We're going to skip that really quick. We're going to go to the original article first. So it says, Ultra Pouring plans to continue this mod development with uploads on Mod HQ and DEG Mods, describing both sites as where its creators get more protections. When asked about Tulpa Town's W body type mod, Ultra Pouring also explained that he granted others permission to re-upload and modify his mod as long as credit was given, and that his mod was not sold. So the original content says, did you download the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered yesterday? Sit down to play and throw your controller at your TV. Because Bethesda shadow dropped a woke remake. I bet that thought didn't even cross your mind, since you're a reasonable human being who doesn't hate minorities. Wow, who wrote this? Who wrote this? I'm very curious. Probably a woman. Anna Valens, yeah. Why am I not surprised, dude? It's probably, this is not even a woman. This looks like a certain person. Anna Valens. Anna Valens. I know who Anna Valens is. Oh my God, no wonder the person who doesn't hate I know who Anna Valens is. Hold on. Anna Valens is the certain person that is going after Kirsche right now, from what I understand. I haven't even dived down that rabbit hole, but this is Anna Valens. So Anna Valens, this is the person that is currently trying to moral grandstand on you, by the way, calling you stupid and right-wing, apparently, because you want to mod your own single-player video game, which I find to be absolutely ridiculous, because, again, keep in mind, this person is trying to say, you're a normal human being who doesn't hate minorities. What are you talking about, bro? I'm a minority. What do you think? I hate myself? What is wrong with you? I hate these people that pretend as if they get to speak for everybody who is apparently not white because they are the white savior. And you saw exactly what the kind of white savior we're dealing with here. But anyway, unfortunately, the biggest losers in gaming are up in arms over Oblivion Remastered due to gender affirming change in the game's character creator. Oh no, not trans people playing video games. See, here's the thing. Me personally, I wouldn't care about more options in a video game, but here's what you did. You didn't give more options. What you did was you took away options and provided an option that nobody wanted, right? You provided a sole option to people for like the less than 1% of the population, and you took out the 99.9% of the population's choice, which would have been male and female. Don't try to sit here and pretend like it was always this way, because obviously every single Elder Scrolls game prior always did male and female or sex. They always did that. They never did this whole type 1 and type 2 nonsense. They only did it now in the remaster that is supposed to be a remaster of an older game. So it's clear that it's been changed for the modern audience. Even if I personally don't think it's a huge deal and I'm still playing the game regardless, there are other people out there that rightfully are not going to feel that way. And you can't tell them they're ridiculous for feeling this way, because it's not. It's not ridiculous at all. You clearly had to make this change for a certain reason. And then when people want to mod it out of their own personal single player game, you are catching a conniption because you want them to be forced to see the ideology. They should be allowed to mod their video game the way that they want. It is a single player game. It doesn't affect you in the slightest. And whatever happened to it be not a big deal? It shouldn't be a big deal to remove it if it's not a big deal. So anyway, they said, so how upset are these right-wingers? And clearly, it's all right-wingers, right? If you disagree with this person, you're immediately right-wing. Even though that's not true at all, they're still going to push that narrative. They tried to promote a mod that alters the terms used for the game's body type descriptors. And when one of the biggest modding sites on the internet banned the change, they went ballistic. Gotta love right-wing gamers getting owned, huh? Yeah, getting owned is you not realizing that this mod is going to exist regardless. Getting owned is you not realizing that you look like a hypocrite because you're out here losing your mind over the fact you wrote an entire freaking article over the fact that people want to mod their video game the way that they want to mod it, and that a website that says they're politically neutral banning a mod based off of politics, that is also hypocritical, and people are calling that out, and they're obviously going after Nexus Mods over that, and they have every right to do so. But you're over here pretending like that's somehow an own. Bro, the only person that's getting owned is you, my guy, because you constantly try to convince yourself you're one thing that you're not. Then shortly after Oblivion Remaster launched on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X, gamers discovered that Elder Scrolls Remake did away with its gender selection terminology. In the original Oblivion, players chose their gender as male or female. Based on your chosen gender, your player character stats will be affected. Now, Oblivion Remastered uses a body type system, where players choose between Type 1 and Type 2 options, reflecting a more feminine or masculine presentation. Respectively, stats are also decided based on players' origin, not their gender. While pronouns and gender titles are still tied to your body type, the change is at least a step in the right direction for representing non-binary and GNC players, and the new stats system prevents your gender from mechanically altering how you play the game. Again, this represents nobody. I don't understand how having a type... Do you reference yourself as Type 1 or Type 2 in real life? Because if you don't, if you don't, then how does this represent you, right? Unless you go out there in real life and say you are a Type 1 and a Type 2, this does not represent you. This represents nobody. There is no person in real life that goes around and say, yeah, I'm a bit of a Type 2 myself. Nobody does that. So how is this exactly representing you? The real representation would have been to be able to do male, female, and non-binary. That would have been the real representation, because then you could say, okay, there are people out there in real life that reference themselves as non-binary, so this is for them. Nobody calls themselves Type 1 or Type 2. Not that I know of anyway. So you claiming this is about representation is actual fucking lie, because this literally represents nobody. This is the developers saying we can't make everybody happy, so we're gonna make nobody happy. That's essentially what it is. And you guys are so goddamn desperate for validation that you're tying yourself to a Type 1, Type 2 option that doesn't actually represent you, because they don't use terminology that you use in real life, which is ridiculous, by the way. So ultimately, this person, Anna Valens, decided to write this article and have a little bit of a conniption and a meltdown over the fact that, oh, certain people are complaining about Type 1 and Type 2, so they are painting everybody with a broad brush that actually is just a flat-out lie. They don't understand what they're actually arguing about. They don't understand what they're actually talking about. They probably never played the original Oblivion, to be honest with you, and now they're here because all of a sudden there is one change that they feel like they can connect themselves to, and they're trying to pretend as if it was always this way, or they were always here, or it's just certain gamers that aren't real gamers that are complaining. No, the only real gamer is this person, this particular creature, that all they care about is seeing their ideology in a video game for them to talk about it. Otherwise, if they didn't have this in this video game, do you think they would be talking about it? Probably not. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.